Good morning, everybody. I think it's still morning. Friends of cricket. Apologies to the minister. My shirt out my pants. Sorry. Sorry about that. I didn't know you were going to be here. First of all, anybody here named Christian? No, just asking because since Jack talked last night, everybody looking for somebody, media looking for somebody named Christian. So just checking to make sure. So we might have a big story here of anybody named Christian. And I especially want to thank the secondary schools cricket league for making sure that the flowers is silk, because I don't want the police looking for any plant-like material when I am close by. In relation to that. I'm also a little disappointed that when Vidya introduced me, he said a lot of nice things. By the way, he's not correct about giving generously, because I'm a very stingy person in many ways, but I'm disappointed that he didn't refer to me as the star of the secondary schools league when I played, because based on what Suraj Dad said a little while ago, he is not interested in trophies. And by that measurement, I was a star of the secondary schools cricket league. Because in my time at St. Mary's, I didn't win nothing. But I didn't win anything. I didn't win nothing. And in fact, I was so much of a blight at St. Mary's that in my time, we didn't win nothing in football either. Check your records yourself. From 1976 to 1983. St. Mary's won the Intercall, I think, in 1976. That's before I started in September. And the year after I left in 1983 is when we started winning again. So I will expect, Sharaz, you live around the corner from me, so I will expect that you'll have the trophy prepared for me as the star, the real star of the secondary schools cricket league. But on a more serious note, and I don't want to take too much of your time, because I noticed as well that lunchtime is approaching. And Suraj Dad chose to invite me on the first day of Ramadan. So I can't eat or drink anything. So it's pointless me being around for lunch. And I will ask for your apologies for having to leave immediately after, because I have a family business to go to and attend to before they fire me for taking time off work without their approval. But apart from Suraj Dad, there's another Suraj here. That is Suraj Raghunath. And a couple of months ago, during the T20 tournament, the national T20 tournament at the National Cricket Center, we were talking about an issue as far as the investment that is made in you young cricketers. And I don't want you all to take that for granted. You all might just see it as the normal thing, that when you turn up, there are umpires, there are officials, you all might take it for granted that there are coaching programs, that there are coaching courses. You all might take it for granted that you all might go on a tour with an under 13 team, or an under 15 team, or an under 17 team. But think about how much money it costs, and the sponsors PowerGen we have to be deeply grateful for. How much money it costs for you all to enjoy these opportunities. I urge you young people, do not take these things for granted, and be mindful of this investment in you. It is an investment in which we expect returns, not necessarily whether you play for the West Indies or play for Mumbai Indians or get a contract for $5 million US in the IPL or whatever. But we want to see more than anything else a level of commitment. Commitment to your school, to your community, to your country, to your region. And then we will say, as I'm sure Suraj will say, and Suraj Dad will say, and all of the officials will say, that the investment was well worth it. It's something that we overlook when we talk about our prominent international players. Why do they need to play for Trinidad? Why do they need to play for the West Indies? They don't get no kind of money from them. How did they get there? Not so, Suraj? How did they get there? Suraj had the great privilege of playing for the West Indies, which I think there can be no higher privilege than to play for the West Indies. And he knows what it means. But we are in a era, and I understand, if many of you young cricketers out there are telling yourself your ambition is to land a big contract in the Big Bash or in the IPL, and that is perfectly normal. Do not feel embarrassed by that. But I want you to understand what it means to represent your people, your country, your village, your town, your school, your region. Given the long history, the minister touched on it briefly. Sir Frank Worrell, George Headley, Viv Richards, Gary Sobers, Brian Lara. You all should be students of the game as well. Not just outstanding students as cricketers and in whatever you do in your chosen subjects, whether it be science, whether it be modern studies, whatever it might be. You all should be students of the game as well. So you all will appreciate the great legacy that has been passed on to you. Because Video was talking about the many sporting facilities here. He talked about the Atto Boland Stadium, which has a track, and Atto was outstanding as a sprinter and outstanding in the relays. And he was a father figure to many young athletes in the relays. And in relation to that, you should look upon your role as not the world revolves around you, but as part of a relay race. Cricket has been played in the Caribbean for over 100 years. The West Indies have been playing as a team since 1928. Right? So you all are now in 2015, just the next leg of the relay race. How are you going to run your leg? Is your leg going to be an outstanding one in which you picked it up in a West Indies cricket in a pretty difficult position and you run a fantastic back leg to make up the stagger on the opponents? Are you going to drop the baton and give up the race because you have other priorities? Think about that for a little while, because as I said, I don't want to take too much time because we have still trophies to be presented and a lot of important messages have been passed on to you, and you don't want to have an overload of that. But I want you to think about the game that you play first of all. I made the point that I didn't win a single trophy in my time as a cricketer, but I wouldn't want to give back that time for nothing, because it was a fantastic time. You played the game that you loved. You played cricket, you played football, even if I wasn't good in it. The last competitive game I played, we were leading 1-0, and then I tried to dribble out of the defense. They scored the equalizer, and then I scored our own goal. We lost the game. They said, stay away from me, stay away from football. That's why I went into commentary over there, by the way. I was so bad in actually playing the game that I decided to talk about it. But at the end of the day, it's enjoyment. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, and you're just thinking about the money, you will not achieve what you think you want to achieve. Because I can assure you, all of those who are attracting attention with the big money that they're making, whether it's a Lionel Messi in football, whether it's a Kyron Pollard or a Chris Gayle in cricket, first and foremost, they love their sport. They grew up in whatever circumstances, dreaming big dreams, but they love their sport. And if you take care of your sport in the same way that you take care of your studies for your exams, if you don't study for the exam, you can be the most talented in the world, you're going to get the results that you deserve. If you don't practice, if you don't work hard, if you don't put in the necessary effort, if you don't show your love for the sport by being there on time and carrying about yourself in the manner of someone who sees himself or herself as world class. And I want the young ladies to understand that as well, that you have opportunities like the women footballers in Canada. We've seen our West Indies women cricketers tour the world, beat some of the best in the world. You have opportunities as well. But those opportunities will not come your way if you think only, how much you paying me? If that is the first sentence that comes out of your mouth when you are asked about, are you available to play, are you willing to play, and so on, and if the first sentence that comes out of your mouth is how much you're paying me, you need to check yourself, because that suggests, and I may be wrong to venture in that area, that you have a problem with your priorities. Because see about excelling in what you do first, and believe me, you wouldn't have to worry about the money. The money will follow you rather than you chasing after it. That is what I just want to leave you with. That for all the bling and the enjoyment and the millions and the attractiveness or whatever, at the end of the day, you should consider yourself privileged if you are allowed or permitted or given the opportunity to do what you love to do and make a living from it. Even if you don't make a living from it, it is an incredible privilege to be facilitated by officials, by organizers, by people who make all the arrangements, to allow you to do what you want to do. There are many young people by the wayside who are not so young anymore, who say, but I was better than Lara, man. Lara's always said, I got about 10 times better than he. How many people know how much work Brian Lara put into his game to be the outstanding batsman that he was? Forbes will know, many of you will know, Suraj will know. Those of you who would have seen him develop as a young cricketer would know. But we see the end product, we don't see the hard work that goes in it. Some of you would know the analogy of the iceberg, that basically is just 10% on the surface that you see towering high into the air. But think about 9 times that height under the water, which you don't see. Think about it in that sense. All of these superstars that we see, the 9 times amount of work that they would have put in over the years before they were able to reap the rewards that we are so impressed with now. So in closing, I just want to thank you all for inviting me for the opportunity to say a few words to you. I want you all to keep in mind the bits of advice that have been given to you, and I want you all to remember that the world didn't start with you and it's not going to finish with you. You all are part of a relay race, and you all will be judged at the end of it all, whether in 5 years or 50 years, what role you played in that relay race. Did you run a good leg, or did you squander the opportunities that were given to you? I thank you once again. Congratulations to all of the winners. Clearly all of them finish fast, they're going to get the applause already. So I wouldn't waste any more time. Congratulations to all of the winners and to those of the trophies that are yet to be received. And again, I do apologize if I have to beat a hasty retreat. It's not because I have my shirt off my pants and the minister going to deal with me afterwards. It's because I have some other commitments to attend to. Congratulations once again, and thank you very much for having me.